this film, obviously, that breaks that all open. And so I think it's going to open up really powerful conversations about alternative versions of masculinity, and then also, lastly, the role that black women have historically played in the lives of black gay men. I mean, you think about Janelle's character is really the story of, so often it was a sister, a black woman, who was able to actually affirm a young, a non-gender conforming black man and say, it's okay to be you. And so the story really does tell that story beautifully.
I'd like for each of you to share with the audience, what do you want, briefly, what do you want the takeaway for the audience to be after viewing this film?
For me, I just want people to, I feel like there are dudes like Chiron everywhere, you know, men and women. And we think we can identify with these people. And I would just hope, particularly because of the performances that Trevante and Ashton and Alex gave, that you can't walk past these individuals and not see them anymore, you know, and not have to understand that this person has a father or a mother or a brother or a sister, you know, that they yearn for things, and that they hurt just like anybody else, you know. And sometimes that hurt manifests itself in a way that that you might feel is aggressive towards you. But I think what I love about this performance is everything's channeled inwards, even though things are projected outwards. And maybe if we, you know, stop and say what's up to folks and listen to them, 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 it might help them and it might help us as well.
Absolutely, just really love and understanding. I mean, I feel like love is the most important thing that we have. It's the most important currency that we have as a people. And I mean, I feel like if we understand that if you can strip away race, you strip away sexual orientation, you strip away gender, all of us are just these blobs looking for the same thing, looking for love, looking for connection, looking for understanding. So once we can, as a collective, understand that, the world will be an amazing place, man.
That's really echoing what Barry and Trevante have said, really. You know, I think what's wonderful about this film is it focuses on our commonalities rather than our differences. It strips away all these labels that we attach to ourselves. If you want to label this film as a gay film or a black film, it's not. It's a film about our universal humanity and our universal search for love and for connection and identity. And it would be wonderful if people focus on that and really learn that actually we are all struggling with these same issues, because then we will learn to have empathy with each other. With empathy comes understanding and true change.
I copy and paste everything that Barry Trevante and Naomi have said. I mean, I again, I'm a huge ally of the LGBTQ community. And as a black woman, I see the parallels as, you know, a woman of color. I know what it's like to walk in a room sometimes and be judged. You know, we're not all monolithic. Even within our community, I think it's important that we are gentle and kind to each other. Allow the person who comes into your life, no matter where they are in their lives, to just be. To just be. And one of the things that Teresa was a nurturer and a listener. And like Barry said, I think it's just so important that we continue to listen to each other, we empathize with one another, and I just pray again that we don't leave this film going out into the world, and as we cross paths with complete strangers, our experience has the ability to change their lives for better or for worse. It's the difference between positively nurturing somebody or ill nurturing someone. So I pray that we can all nurture each other in a healthy way.
From a viewer's perspective, all I can say is thank you, right? That this film is really a gift and an offering, and I think that as audience members, we have a moral obligation to actually say exactly what Sister Naomi said, to let the world know that this is actually a universal story. It's a story that belongs to us, but we can't allow this film to be pigeonholed into one category as a gay film or as a black film, but that this is a film that everyone should see. because it really is about the search that all of us goes through to kind of claim our authentic self. So thank you for this gift and this offering.
We're going to open things up for a few questions.
Alfred, beautiful movie. Thank you all so much. It was really, really beautiful. And to the actors, the portrayals of the roles were amazing. Thank you, Janelle, Naomi, and Trevante. The question is specifically for Trevante. Tyler James Williams, when he was in Dear White People, he played a gay character in that movie, and he talked about in an interview he talked about some of the backlash that he got from friends and from some people in the black community about playing a character whose sexuality was not straight. So coming into this role and playing someone whose sexuality may have been questionable at the end of the movie, did you prepare yourself for it? Were you expecting any criticism, or have you experienced any criticism, or what has playing that role been like for you as part of this process?
Yeah, man, I don't know if I'm just like ignorant to a lot of things, but I always find that question, because I obviously get asked it a lot. How was it playing? How is it being a heterosexual playing a homosexual man? And I feel like it's ignorant to assume that there's a difference. I really get kind of irate about it because that's stupid to me. I feel like I would be the same exact person if I was born loving men. I just so happen to be born loving women. But I feel like, yeah, man, I just feel like it's the same thing. And so every time I hear that, it's just, I don't know. I feel like as a people, like our minds are very strange. You know what I mean? Because we are literally the same. Like every single one of us are literally the same. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, that just speaks to like a wider thing. And like I do get backlash from the gay community specifically, because how can I know the struggle of a gay man? And I completely understand that, because my man right here, I love you, but a white man doesn't know the struggle that I have. You know what I mean? But the struggle of being a minority is real. You know what I mean? It's the same. So in that aspect, I relate. You know what I mean? And I have people in my life that I care about deeply, deeply, since I'm 10 years old, who have gone through. You all right, brother? Sorry. So who have gone through the struggle, and I've seen, firsthand, man. And I was young, and I didn't know how to verbalize or how to help, but I've seen the struggle. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was really just kind of, it was kind of liberating to portray someone who I feel is going to help a lot of people. So I hope I answered your question, man. All right, cool.
Barry, why don't you pipe in on that? I mean, how did you overcome the trepidation of having a name on a film that, deals with the LGBT identity and experience?
Yeah, so I kind of approached the movie as an ally to the LGBTQ experience, and you can be a passive ally, you can be an active ally. When the Supreme Court passed the bill, everybody turned the Facebook page to the rainbow flag. That was cool, it was cute, but that was like passive. That was being a passive ally. I've always wanted to be an active ally, put money on the table. So when I read Terrell's piece, I had the same sort of hesitancy where I was like, as a straight man, can I tell this story? Because I think there are certain stories you have to have a first-person perspective in order to be able to tell. But I talked to Terrell, over the course of several months. Some of those ideas were purely aesthetic, things I wanted to do structurally, like casting decisions, things like that. But then also, we got down to brass tacks, started talking about it, and I felt like, we've all seen people who approach these stories purely on empathy, people who aren't others, who want to tell stories about others, who want to advocate for others, relying purely on empathy. And there's a ceiling on that. You can only go so far without that first-person experience. And so what became most important to me was to preserve Terrell's voice. And I felt like I, as a straight man, if I was respectful to Terrell's voice, and I did due diligence and treated it with respect and responsibility, I could wed that with my goals as an active ally and take authorship over the story and tell it in a truthful way. And once I got to that point, all the trepidation was out the window. At that point, I was just chopping wood. And so we just sort of pushed through.
Additional questions?
Well, my name is Rashad Mubarak. As a seminal filmmaker, I just want to thank you for